Well, hey y'all. Welcome back to my channel. This is Hello Keisha Ricks, and yesterday I posted my very first yapping video as part of my 90-day challenge called Girl, Turn the Camera On. So I am so excited to be here and to share. If you haven't watched that intro video, go back and watch it. I just shared a little bit about myself and the purpose of my channel and what I seek to get out of this whole process of YouTubing. So make sure you go back and watch it. And some of what I'll share today, I'm sure will be just a little redundant, just so that you'll have proper context. So I decided that I'm going to do a self-starting 90-day challenge here on YouTube. A couple of things that have held me up in the past, I just decided to just jump right over them. So the biggest one is editing. I've seen a lot of creators recently that just have a thumbnail, and as soon as the video opens, they're talking. That works for your girl. That works for me. And as I refine this channel, I'm sure I'll be adding a little bit more refinement to the channel, because I do want it to be my best work, right? I think everybody wants to share the best of themselves. But until then, I'm not waiting a day longer. So here's to day 2 of my Girl Turn On That Camera 90-day challenge. So today we're going to talk about mindset and one of my favorite coaching principles, and that is the be, do, have mindset. That has really taken me so far in life. So most recently, I've lost about 35, a little over 35 pounds, I think. I think I might be at 37, and we counting every pound, okay? And it has been a great weight loss journey and a great fitness journey so far. I started October of last year, 2025. It is currently July 7th, I think it is, of 2026. And so it's been slow and steady wins the race. And I've really kind of just reprogrammed myself, how I eat, how I think about training. I used to run from the scale. My husband, my kids pretty much weigh themselves every day. And I used to be like, y'all are crazy. There's no way I'm going to be weighing myself every day. And that is because I knew I was well overweight. But now the scale is my friend. It keeps me in line. It keeps me in check. And there have been so many things that I have done during this fitness journey that have helped me to stay on track. But the most important thing has been applying the be, do, have principle. And so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about how that works. So in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve, you have to become the person who is experiencing those things. Do the things that that person does so that you can have the results that that person has. Pretty simple, right? It is a very simple coaching principle, mindset, however you want to refer to it, is very simple, but very complex for a lot of people. So when I decided this time, on top of the 10 pounds that I carried with each of my last 2 pregnancies, so that was 20, then perimenopause, and then menopause, I was just sick of being overweight. At 57 years old, I decided, no, actually I was 56 at the time. I decided I was literally tired of being fat, okay? Not only fat, uncomfortable, my joints hurt. I couldn't wear all the cute clothes that I wanted to. I almost decided, I remember having a conversation with my daughter, I'm just gonna learn to dress up the fat. And my daughter was so disgusted and just really fussed at me about that. And I just felt helpless, during the course of the last 23 years. I've run a half marathon, walked, let's say it that way, because I never was just able to do the full 13.1 miles. But I did a half marathon. I've done 10Ks. I've done 5Ks. My family got out a lot. We biked. We were in nature, all of that. But as perimenopause just kept going in my early to mid 40s, it just got harder and harder, and the weight just kept adding. And I was just over it by the time I turned 56 and was fully menopausal. I got some help with my hormones, which helped quite a bit, got me out of that brain fog, gave me more energy, all of the things. I'm definitely an advocate, okay, for HRT. Do your research, see if it works for you. That's in full disclaimer. What I do is HRT, and it has brought me back to myself. So it was a huge part of me even just getting enough clarity, because if you're in menopause or if you're in your 30s, listen, know it's coming. In your 40s, early perimenopause, know it's coming. So start to think about it. And obviously we're living in what I call a menopause revolution. We're just learning so much more about it and what our options are. And that's not the purpose of this video, but the purpose of this yapping is to share with you how important it is to embody who it is that you want to become. So as the HRT started taking effect and I started being able to just be clear enough to get myself together, to purpose in my mind that I didn't want to be fat anymore, I decided, and I remember the day I was like, tomorrow I'm going to be in somebody's gym. And that was the beginning of this whole journey for me. And so what I decided to do was apply the Be Do Have principle. And that was, I knew that I wanted to lose at least 50 pounds. I needed to lose at least 50 pounds. So I literally just started doing what a person who was fit would do. The first thing most fit people do is exercise, and that can come with the gym, or it can come walking around your neighborhood, which I did a lot of, 3 miles, 4 miles around my neighborhood. Whatever modality you use, just to move is the point. And for me, I love to dance, and so I knew I could catch a great hip hop dance class at the gym, and that would be fun cardio for me. So that is where I started. And from there, I started strength training. And it's just been a wonderful journey. I feel so empowered. I tell myself all the time, Keisha, I am so proud of you. And it feels good to be proud of myself. And that was all because I decided who I wanted to be. And here it is, about 8 months later, and I am that girl now. Now, I haven't completely arrived. I want to lose about 15 more pounds, and I'm well on my way. I'm doing a cut this month, actually. And if you don't know what a cut is, basically that means that I'm reducing my calorie intake so that I can lose more weight. And so I am eating high protein, eating high fiber, eating a little fruit, eating lots of veggies with my high protein. And this month I'm going to cut. I've done it before. I did it back. I think I lost my first 20 pounds, in about 3 months, because my goal is to implement a new lifestyle, because I want to be her continually. I don't want to be the weight loss person or the person who's lost weight, who turns around and then, puts it all back on, or puts back on more than what they've lost. I've done that before. I have no interest in doing that. In fact, I've done that many times before. So I had to change my behavior. I had to become the person. So what does the person who is fit do besides exercise? You take your supplements. You do your research on what works best for your body. You drink your water. You get fresh air and sunshine. All of those things. And then you become by doing. That's it. And then you have what it is that you desire. I remember years ago, when I was single, I think it was, There was a preacher, Juanita Bynums, who used to preach this, or I think she became kind of famous for her No More Sheets sermon. And one of the things I remember in that sermon, she was sharing with the women that if you want to be a wife, act like a wife now. You know, cook at home, learn how to prepare a meal, have your home clean, how to stock your home with toiletries and all the things that your family, your future family will need. That is be to have, right? So if you want to become a wife, then do the things that a wife does so that you can have the husband that you desire. Now we know that's pretty simple, or it sounds simple. And in this whole now social media culture, gosh, I feel so bad for you guys. It seems really hard these days to deal with relationships. I've been married now for 23 years, so I've been out the game for a long time, and I really enjoy being married. Now, that's just not to say that marriage is not a challenge, because it is, in order to continue to enjoy your marriage, you have to pour into it. And so that's what I do. But my whole point is, I don't want to get off on a tangent, and that is that you have to do the things to become the person, and do the things in order to have the results. So mindset is everything. It's one of my favorite pillars of coaching. I was thinking before I turned the camera on that I really give my grandmother, who raised me, credit for really establishing a very healthy, vision-oriented mindset into me as a child. She always reminded me who I was, and that was, Keisha, you're no better than anyone else, but you're no worse than anyone else. You can have anything it is that you desire. All you have to do is put your mind to it, as she used to say. And I remember she would say, if you want to be a doctor, you know, you can be a doctor. If you want to be a lawyer, there ain't no difference in you and the next person who's a lawyer. All you have to do is study and pass the test, and you can become a lawyer. You can do anything you put your mind to. And then she would say, you need to remember too whose you are. You are a child of the living God. And I'm telling you, knowing who I am and whose I am has been one of the biggest assets, how can I say it? It's been one of the biggest, clearest establishments of my identity. And it's one of the things that I have now done for my children. In fact, my youngest son, who is 21, when he decided at 20 that he wanted to get tattoos, he said to me, Mom, the first tattoo I get is going to be one of the things that you taught me, one of the main principles that you said the entire time I was growing up. And I was like, okay, what's that? And it was that principle. Remember who you are and whose you are. And he got it tattooed right here on his forearm so he can see it every day. Just touches me. So I just am here on this internet to drop some values, some gems, some lived experiences. I know now that we have various cultures and lots of opinions, or generations is what I mean. Also, you know, I birthed a millennial, I birthed two Gen Zers, and man, when I'm on socials, I just see that the generations just have so many layers to their identities, and how we all are different in so many ways. However, I think there's a lot of commonalities, and that's where we need to meet. But I'm just here to share some gems, to sprinkle some auntie dust on the internet, and to really offer some value here on my channel. So I'm just turning the camera on, talking. Today we talked about the be, do, have principle, and how important it is to become the person you want to be by doing the things that they would do so that you can have the results. And this really applies to anything you want in life. I want you to test it. Anything you want in life, you literally can apply this principle to and manifest, which is the big buzzword. I'm a believer and I believe in manifesting. It's so simple of an idea. I don't know how it's gotten so convoluted these days, but you can manifest whatever it is that you desire by embodying the person that you desire to become. Do the things that that person would do so that you can have the results. All right, guys, until the next video, which will be tomorrow, day 3 of the 90-day Girl Turn on That Camera challenge. I will see you then. Be sure to follow, like, and feel free to comment. Let me know what you think about the Be Do Have principle. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.